to society.
It's easier to talk to somebody who's been through the stuff that you've been through.
I think you could break the mold in your family.
I want to be the first one to grow up and not go to prison.
This is a clip from a new Vice series called Raised in the System, premiering April 6th. Give a round of applause for that, man. 7:30 and 11 p.m. On HBO. And at the forefront of it is our good friend, man. He was just here recently and he was talking about Happen Leonard. And just to give you the multifaceted approach he takes to what he does, man. He's not just on the big screen to get checks, man. He's also utilizing the screen as well to bring awareness. And today, man, I want to welcome back Michael K. Williams, ladies and gentlemen.
Michael!
What up, Shade 45? But, Sway, I just want to go on the record really quickly and just speak to what you just said.
Yeah.
I purposely did not bring this up the last time I was here because you mean a lot to me, what you do in the community and how you rep the culture.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that I gave you the undivided attention and have this moment now. So I purposely didn't try to tack it on with the Happen Leonard press.
Okay, I get it.
So I save this and we can have a proper dialogue because I respect what you do, bro.
Thank you, man. Michael K. Williams. What a way to wake up this morning. Shit, man. I'm giving you props. You know why this was really touched me is because I've been doing work with an initiative called The Last Mile, and we actually created a kind of like a podcast series here on Sirius XM, but we went into San Quentin. We have been for years. And sitting down and talking with some of the folks who are incarcerated in San Quentin, some of the decisions they made early in life, different from who they are today, 10, 15, 20 years later. These people are doing real time. And they've changed their life around through coding. You know, Chris Retlitz and his lovely wife have created a system where we've been teaching inmates how to code from behind bars so to reduce that recidivism rate. So when they get out, they have a proper skill set that they can survive in today's society, especially the way technology is moving. What made you want to do this series, Raised in the System?
Well, first of all, I gotta call you out again, brother.
Yeah.
I'm new to this process. What you just said that you've been doing for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
This is new to me. Like I just learned the word recidivism and what that means and how that affects my community. And so I'm taking a page out of your playbook and what you've been doing before it was even really, like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm just getting to the party. And there was nothing that made me there was no I had no knowledge of the school to prison pipeline or, the privatizing of prisons. One of my mentors and good friends, Michael Skolnick, through a series of meetings and town group discussions, he got me invited to the last trimester of President Obama's administration. We were put in a room with like 20 to 30 artists, activists, and politicians, and the topic of the day was criminal justice, the criminal justice system. How can we reform it? So two things was happening with me. One, I was geeking out that I finally got invited to the White House and I'm sitting there talking to President of the United States, President Obama. And two, I started tripping because I was like, wait a minute, what the hell do they want with me? I know nothing of this. Why am I at this table? I don't have the credentials to be here.
Yeah.
And I started to doubt my voice. And I spoke that to Michael Skolnick, and he said, Mike, the reason you're here is because those who are closest to the problem are usually the ones closest to the solution. And my light bulb went off, and I was like, you know what, Mike? Look at your life. Okay, yeah, whatever. You've never been to prison. You've never been sentenced to hard time and never really been on the other side of that tracks. But I have family members, friends, people I love dearly that's still in my life that did go through the system. And I was like, my first visit was to Rikers Island, and I was 17 years old. And I've been making visits ever since, periodically. So I got to see the process of what it takes for a young person to have traps set before them, fall prey to those traps by making bad choices, go through the system, and come out worse than what they were. I saw how that happens, and it was from that awakening coming from the White House and looking at my life and my involvement and watching people in my family who I loved go through the system. This documentary got born from that reality. All I did was take my emotions, my passion, my pain, my love for my family and friends, and I took that to the producers, and I was like, I think there's something here.
Yeah.
And when they sifted through the stories and looked at the age ranges and started started tying together this story about, they were all in their adolescent stage of their life when they made their bad choice and committed their crime. They all went through the system and met all types of adversities when they came back, and almost the trap was set for them to trip up, make the same mistakes, and end up back where they just came out of.
Mm-hmm.
And it was from all of that this doc came.
That's how that doc came, man. That's powerful. In this doc, what kind of kids were you able to talk to? What did you learn from the youth?
I on this journey, I got to meet every stage of how a child ends up in the prison system. We see children who have trauma in their maybe 10, 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
They have parents and loved ones and family members who are already in the system. They have no capabilities of how to deal with that stigma. And then we see them lose a parent, deal with the awkwardness of adolescence,
mm-hmm.
have way too much access to things that they have no business to, like illegal firearms.
Uh-huh.
And then they make bad choices. It's not a matter of why did they do that or are they going to make a bad choice. It's a matter of when. First of all, we're the only country that criminalizes adolescent behavior. Kids are going to do dumb stuff in their adolescence. It's called adolescent behavior.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that young people should not be made to pay for their mistakes when they make bad choices. What I am saying is we need to figure out a way to, while they're paying for their mistakes and paying their debt to society, they're still in an environment where they can grow, and we can still mold that malleable mind and give them a leg to stand on when they come back in, like a coding class.
Yes.
And healthy programming in there to help those young people deal with their trauma. Because half of them going in there with sexual abuse trauma, physical abuse trauma, mental illness, the complete breakdown of their family structure. Mama's probably on drugs, daddy in the system. You compound all of those situations on an already fragile situation, which is called adolescence.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time. And then we reprimand them by putting them in adult situations with no chance of them to redeem themselves. And then we release them back into the streets. We're creating basically professional inmates.
Professional inmates. Michael K. Williams, we're here talking about the series Raised in the System, which is premiering April 6th, Friday, not 7:30 and 11 p.m. on HBO. Something worth watching. One of the things I found that was really alarming when I went into the system is how much it cost to keep people in prison. Did you get a chance to come across those kind of numbers?
Bro, you know your homework, bro. I'm really impressed right now. I just know because that is an issue.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's just look at the state of California because that's the state that I was granted this information about. In the state of California, to lock up a young person, a juvenile, it costs that state up to $200,000 a year per inmate, and in each person 3 to 5 years stay. You do the math, anywhere from a $500,000 to $1 million a year. I mean per person per year, and you're talking about the time because the least is 3 to 5, the minimum.
Yeah.
You add up that math. Excuse me. I'm sorry. You add up that math, and that's what it costs to house our young people in these private prisons.
Motherfucker, we don't even make 200,000. I mean, 200,000 people
getting up and going to
work
every day.
Yeah. The average person doesn't even have $500 in savings.
We'll see. What I believe happened is prisons got privatized.
Yeah.
And you had people who really had no interest in the correction or the rehabilitation of an individual, and just wanted to make money off of the prison system and building private prisons. If you and I were realtors and we were investors or builders and we bought a condominium and had a condominium built, what's the first thing we're going to want to do? Fill those apartments.
Yeah.
So you have that same mentality dealing with the penal system in these private prisons, and they're filling their real estate with like adolescents who, especially from poor communities, like an inner city community, we're losing a generation. And you swear, I'm quite sure you know this, but just to call myself out, I really just got to the party.
Yeah.
You know, I want anybody who's listening to this right now, like for me, listen to the term school to prison pipeline. That's ludicrous.
Yeah.
And I got to really understand what that meant and how that works, and it's ugly.
Let's talk about that. Michael K. Williams is here. New series on Vice, Raised in the System, Friday, 7:30 and 11 p.m. on HBO. And we're going to take your calls, too. 888-742-3345. Give us a call. Yeah, we got Michael K. Williams here. Raised in the System, premiering Friday, April 6, 7:30 to 11 p.m. Yeah, Mike took a journey to expose the root of the American mass incarceration crisis, the juvenile justice system, and the information he's bringing back, man. We all need to hear it constantly because people in prison are like what you said earlier, forgotten population.
Right.
There just is thousands upon thousands of men and women that are locked up that we don't think about. You know, we don't have no direct connection unless it's a family member or friend.
I'll give you a statistic that I learned on this journey. America is the #1 country in the world that has the most juvenile arrests. Through the school to prison pipeline, with that type of net fishing policing in our community, what are the chances that we are arresting the next Oprah Winfrey or the next Barack Obama or the next Michael Jordan? You look at, when you get a chance to see the doc and you see the young people that I had a chance to meet, the remorse in their voice, you can hear that the empathy that they have and the remorse that they have for their bad mistakes, and trying to wrap their minds around the fact that I have to be here for the rest of my life. Man, it broke my heart.
Yeah.
It broke my heart. It's not fair.
Mm-hmm. And I talked about a guy named Wall Street I met in prison in San Quentin. He was 16 and 17 when he made a mistake, made a bad choice. Him and his brother were struggling, so they were, robbing houses. He's going to do, I think he got an L, 25 with an L,
Yes,
and when I talked to him, he's in his 30s now, mid-30s.
And he went in at 17.
Yeah. Totally different person. I'm going to take some calls real quick. We got Danielle from Dallas. Danielle, good morning.
Hey, Danielle.
Danielle, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. Good morning, everybody. This is a
morning,
very
Tutu.
passionate topic for me, not just because I'm running for the local county judge here, but because I have been partnering with a few of justices of the peace and the justices here. We know without a doubt from bail being one of the major issues why some people get locked up, because being able to afford bail is highly disproportionate among African Americans and hence Hispanics than white people that commit the same crime. When we have the privatized prison system, just like Michael is talking about, yes, they have to fill them just like apartments. What a lot of people don't realize is that they experiment on those prisoners in there. They're given medications, they're given treatments. Some of them are injected with certain illnesses, and then basically their projects to be experiment on when they can't even consent to that.
You know this for a fact,
so
Danielle.
It's not about
was in my mind.
rehabilitation.
Danielle,
You was in my mind. I was just
You know this for a fact, Danielle?
There has been studies. I could pull it. I'm just so excited to hear the topic. I haven't had a chance to give you the experiment, but there was one where they were caught injecting them with allergies some years back. Not allergies, the flu.
Yeah.
They were giving them the flu, and that is a documented fact.
Well, sister, I don't know how the penal system affects your life, but I appreciate your passion and your concern for the topic, and again, I just say I'm a puppy to this information and to this situation that and I can't tell you how charged I am about how we are just losing a generation of young
Yes.
people. It's at alarming numbers.
Yeah.
It's at alarming numbers. But when you get a chance to watch Raised in the System, what I was also able to uncover are some grassroots solutions. I'm gonna take you back to your hometown, Sway.
Okay.
So for the first time, when I was creating this doc, I found out that there was a place called Richmond, California.
Right outside of Oakland.
Yeah,
Man,
I know you know what that is.
Yeah, Richmond. What's
so,
up?
So I ain't got to tell you
Yeah.
what Richmond is known for. One of the murder capitals of
Wow.
of our country. And I learned this word called per capita, where that's how they determine the size of the city versus the amount of people, the population there, times that by the amount of illegal activity, maybe murders. They come up with that number of a certain destination being a murder cap. So Richmond, California, about 5 years ago, was at the top of that list, up on the top 5, and they had about 75 murders that year. A brother was brought in from, I believe, Chicago. I'm blanking on his last name now, but Brother Devon. He was brought in. The city gave him a budget of like $900,000 and said, "Can you help bring down the gun violence in this city?" He created a program called ONS, Officer Neighborhood Safety, and he recruited men who have been incarcerated and men who have been incarcerated with a gun charge in his or her past. His or her past, and he groomed them and got a classification they can call them called change officers, and it's a legal. It's not just let's make this up. It has legal backing, and these brothers go into the hood, the hot spots in Richmond. No uniforms, no bulletproof vest, no guns, just a hoodie and a windbreaker, and they run up in the hood, and they love on these brothers, and just love and concern on every day they come in. Brother, you okay? What you doing with your life? You ate, man? What you doing in this corner? Man, fuck off. Get the hell out of here. What the hell you talking about? I'll see you tomorrow. They keep coming back and pressing that button until that window opens up, and then they bring them in to this program for 19 months. The first, I think, 6 to 7 months, they help these young people build a life map and to see, and it also gives them a chance to make sure this young person is serious about changing their life. The rest of the remainder of the 7 months, they are given up to $1,000 a month as incentive to help them to get to some of the goals within their life map. You know, help them keep them off the corner and doing illegal activity to support themselves. And it's been working. Within 4 years, the murder rate in Richmond dropped to under half. I forget the exact numbers, but
70%.
70%.
Yeah, dropped 70%. Yeah.
But it's just brothers like you and me.
Yeah.
Sway taking back our community and starting to make a presence in our young people's lives. Didn't take a bunch of money. It didn't take a bunch of high profile politicians. He didn't need a bunch of the Hollywood elites.
Yeah.
He got a bunch of brothers who know the walk and have talked that talk and can relate to this young generation, and it's been working. And seeing programs like that, it gave me so much hope, and it gave me like I feel like I can do something. I can do that.
Yeah.
I don't need a bunch of money or a bunch of access to the top. I can do that with myself. A few brothers, we can go into the hood and create that same situation.
Yep, Michael K. Williams said grassroots. That's a perfect example of grassroots solution. Danielle, thank you for your call, and you're a citizen.
Let's swing in the morning.
We got Monique on the line. Mike Muse, you know Monique.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Monique, good morning. Monique Jones is calling from Northern California. And thank you so much for calling, Monique. We have Michael K. Williams who is promoting his fantastic show, Raised in the System, really focusing on juveniles in the criminal justice system. And he's doing a fantastic job kind of giving us context of the show and really context of the issue from the school to pipeline scenario. I know you work in the California prison system, particularly in the Northern California. So I was wondering if you can give us context from the official capacity within your job and your jurisdiction question in terms of, I know you deal with adults, but what is happening in the California state prison system as they look at these juveniles in detentions, as they then transfer over because they're being charged as adults, as they transfer over into the adult prison systems? What is that process like? Is there any programs you guys are doing to help reduce their sentences by offering them skill sets like coding to help reduce their sentencing? And can you just speak to some of the things that we've been talking about?
Yes, I just first want to say good morning. I'm from the Yay area. What's up, Sway?
What up, Mo? Yeah.
What up?
Okay.
And then and I listen to you guys all the time, so love the show. But I actually work with the California Prison Industry Authority, and I know, Sway, you worked with us too. We have our entire agency mission. We're actually a state agency, so we're not federally funded. We're not privately funded, and our whole mission is to give inmates job skills. And that does start with the youth. So we do have some youth that can reduce their sentence. They learn how to do e-waste, taking apart computers, learning about computers so that they can get jobs with like Geek Squad, for instance. We have youth that are learning how to do handyman programs, how to do landscaping, because a lot of the youth, speaking to what Michael's speaking out, they've raised in the system. They have skills that are in sales, right? Pharmaceutical sales, hustling, you know what I'm saying? And for me, I'm a recruiter, so I can help you spend that, but a lot of them don't have access to someone that can spend that to usable skills that you can use in the real world to get a legit job. So that's what our entire agency is about. We are all about helping the youth and adults to get these viable skills so that they can get decent jobs so that when they get out of prison, they won't come back.
Okay.
You know what else, too, Monique, I found on this journey during the creation of this doc? Yes, all those things that you spoke about needs to be in their lives, and particularly the young people that cross the line. But you know what I've also come to find what they need is like intense counseling, like cognitive skill classes. A lot of these kids, they got in trouble at such an early age during their adolescence. They didn't have time their brain didn't have time to fully develop to be able to decide what's right and wrong and have good decision making, cognitive skills. They were robbed of that because of the activity and getting in trouble, being in the system and dealing with that. And so I've come to find out, and this is just me talking, again, we need to let young people know when they break the law and they cross that line, they have to be held accountable for that.
Yeah.
But while they are paying their debt to society, I think it is our responsibility to make sure that they're in an environment that is conducive to their growth and their mental stability. We cannot put young people in those gray buildings with the barbed wire and the metal toilets, and that just it doesn't give them a place to grow.
Yeah.
Breeding animals is like a breeding ground for animals.
Monique, thank you for your call, Monique. Unfortunately, we got to try to bring the segment to a close, Monique. But I appreciate you waking up and getting on the phone, and I appreciate the work you do in the system, because it's not easy, because when you work in the system, you are part of the system too. Yeah. So it's almost like you're in prison, correct?
I got a passion for it, though.
Yeah. And so I commend you for that, Monique. Thank you, okay?
Thanks, Monique.
Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Right.
You too.
Michael K. Williams, I want to thank you, too, for the work you're doing, man. I love how you utilize your reach in a way to help uplift people that love you, that watch you because of your craft, and now you're utilizing that to help uplift just bring awareness to the community. Like you said, you're a puppy in this, but you're just trying to find the truth and help folks, and I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Sway. And to that I say, I deserve no accolades for that.
Yeah.
I ain't doing nothing special. All I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing as a grown man for my community, and seeing the issues that are plaguing our young people. I'm not doing nothing special. I'm not like, I don't even, I know what you're saying, but this is so not about me. It's not. I'm not doing this to be. Yeah. It's my duty as a black man. Coming from the hood in Brooklyn, from East Flatbush. It's my duty, as you're gonna hear Brother Sam say in the documentary. Leave some breadcrumbs for the next generation.
Yeah. Leave some breadcrumbs for the next generation. Michael K. Williams, ladies and gentlemen. Raised in the System, premiering Friday, April 6th, 7:30, 11 p.m. on HBO. Thank you, family. Anytime, the door is open, bro.
What's up, brother? Thank you,
absolutely, man.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.